Stream has started.
Need to approve the board meeting minutes.
Okay, did not we do that, Margaret?
We did. We
Okay,
did with Miss Stevenson.
With the consent agenda, that also covered the,
The consent agenda was
Okay.
the approval of October 18 minutes.
yes,
And then Mr. Box seconded. And then I went through the roll call and all approved.
My bad.
That's okay.
That's okay. Thank you, Tom. I have missed before, so don't feel bad at all. Okay. Yeah, Dr. Bush invited me. Can we see, where's that coming from? Can we mute Jimmy, please? We're getting a background noise there.
I think
There we
it's
go.
on,
Thank you.
it may be on institutional computing. I'm hearing
No,
about.
that was coming from Jimmy.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Bush invited me to visit the campus to observe the process of the building construction and the improvements. And I want to share with the board what my first observation was. The construction is going very well. It's going to make things a little bit better for the students. It's going to be more modern. It's going to look pretty nice, I do believe. While I was there, I had a chance to look at the areas that we had to have remediated because of the mold issue. And the repair work's being done there. When we last met, the extent of the mold we believed was pretty significant. After they got into it, it wasn't as big an issue as we originally had thought. Those areas are mold free at this time. The repair work to the area is underway. And I think we need to thank Dr. Bush and his team for acting so fast in getting this accomplished. That being said, on to the next one. Adjustment of the calendar. We need to make an adjustment to our board calendar for our December meeting. And while we're at it, we just as well make the adjustments for the 2023 calendar too for November and December. But our December meeting, we're going to have to change from the 20th to the 13th because the school will be closed on the 20th of this year, 2022. Looking into next year, November the 21st of next year is when the third Tuesday would be. We're going to have to move that to the 14th. This is November of 2023, from the 21st to the 14th. And then December, which would actually be on the 19th in 2023, we'll have to move that to the 12th. So at this point, I guess, yeah, we're going to have to make we'll have to have a motion to adjust the board calendar for this year and next year for those 3 dates. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we adjust the calendar reflecting the change in those 3 dates.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Second, please.
Second. Oh.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Sidwell,
Yes.
Mr. Sandoval. Thumbs up.
So-
There you go.
There you go. Thank you, Jimmy.
Miss Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Streetman,
Yes.
and Mr. Box.
Yes.
And the motion carried.
Okay. The next item we have, okay, this is the property leases. We broke that down in there, and this is the Alco property, the EDC property, the interstate frontage out there where our radio tower is. That's the 3 pieces of property. Then we have the 2 trailers that we're leasing to the college. It comes to a total of $53,050. Do we have the foundation has already approved their side of it? We just need to get this approved on our side. So do we have a motion to approve the leases with the foundation?
Jimmy Sandoval made the motion.
Okay, Jimmy made the motion. Do we have a second?
I will second.
Tom, thank you too, Jimmy. And roll call.
Mr. Sandoval. Thumbs up. Okay. Miss Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Streetman,
Yes.
Mr. Box,
Yes.
Mr. Sidwell,
Yes.
and the motion carried.
Okay. On with the reports. Dr. Bush, you're up, sir.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, distinguished guests, it is my privilege this evening to introduce some new members of the Mesalands family. And I will let them tell you just a little bit about themselves, where they're from, where they've gone to school, that type of thing. The first we'll start with is Alyssa Zukovic. You may remember actually, at least Alyssa Zukovic. She joined Mesalands several months ago, but has applied for a different position. She now serves as Director of Disability Services and Human Resources. So, Alyssa, do you want to give a little bit of hello again, background, and where you're from and where you went to school?
Hello, everyone. I'm Alyssa. Pleasure to be here. I am actually an alumni from Mesalands. I took so many dual credit classes that I graduated with my associates the same time I graduated high school, and then I went on to NMSU. And I got my bachelor's in psychology. I also worked for their disability department, and that's where my background in disability services started to stem from. And then I worked for a nonprofit called Tresco, so I got a bit more background in disability services. So I'm looking forward to working with everyone, and also in the HR department to help out Russell Irby. So thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. We're very glad to have you and bringing your experience with disability services to Mesalands. Next, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I'm pleased to introduce you to Matthew Benavides. Matt is the academic enrollment assistant, and he can tell you where he's from and a little bit about his education. And take it over, Matt.
Hi, guys. Good evening. Matt Benavides here. I'm originally from Tucumcari, born and raised here, graduated high school from here back in 2012. I then went to Eastern New Mexico University to complete my bachelor's in university studies, as well as a master's in communication. So it is exciting to be back here in Tucumcari, my hometown, and in seeing it from an adult perspective rather than a student undergrad with this. But I'm excited to be part of the Mesalands family and just seeing what I can contribute to everyone else here too.
All right. Thank you, Justin, or Matt. I appreciate that. Next, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, it's my honor to introduce Justin Hatterman. He is an IT coordinator. And Justin, if you would take just a second and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name's Justin. I grew up here in Tucumcari. Actually got my associate's degree in information technologies and networking from Western Iowa Tech Community College. I've been working for quite a few years in the IT field. I'm greatly honored to have this opportunity to work here with you today.
Thank you, Justin. We're very glad to have you. And I know that Jason Nimro is very excited to have more help over in the IT area. So anyway, double thumbs up down there, I see.
Yes.
So last but certainly not least is Armando Acosta. Armando is serving as coordinator for academic advising. And Armando, if you would take a second, please introduce yourself, tell us where you're from and where you went to school, and take it over. You'll have to unmute first.
Hi, my name is Armando Acosta. I am from Tucumcari, New Mexico. I graduated with my associates from Mesalands in 2003 with university studies. Previous to that, I attended college at Eastern New Mexico University and Highlands University. I ended up dropping out, but over the years, I've accumulated experience with a lot of manual labor and customer service. A lot of my time derives from customer service and food service. So I'm excited to apply that experience to help the students enroll and their experience coming onto campus and helping them guide their pathway as efficiently as possible.
Great. Thank you, Armando. We appreciate that very much. Mr. Chair, and members of the board, I think that one thing we can be proud of with our four folks that we have introduced this evening is, if you've noticed, all four of them are from Tucumcari and alumni of Mesalands, and it's nice for us to get that opportunity to hire back our own and be able to demonstrate their success there. So very pleased with that. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my next item on my agenda is that I have the bittersweet responsibility to announce to you the retirement of our Chief Campus Operations and Workforce Development Officer, Jim Morgan. Mr. Chairman and members of the board, you all know Jim very well. You know Jim better. You've known him for many years, longer than I have, and you know that Jim is and has been Mesalands for a long, long time. In fact, 23 years. He has had incredible dedicated service to this college. He will be sorely missed, but Jim and I have worked on ways in which he will be able to continue his service with us as a contractor and helping out in areas of his expertise. And we're very glad that that Jim's willing to come back and help us out with some of these things. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, whereas Jim Morgan has spent 23 years of his life dedicated service to Mesalands Community College, I hereby request, Mr. Chairman, the nomination of Jim Morgan as Chief Emeritus and awarding him the staff and all the privileges that are awarded thereto. You may take action on that if you so desire.
Folks, do we have a motion?
Teresa Stevenson, so moved.
Okay. Do we have a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Teresa. Roll call.
Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Streetman,
Yes.
Mr. Box,
Yes.
Mr. Sidwell,
Yes.
and Mr. Sandoval. Thumbs up. Okay.
Okay. We see your thumb, Jimmy. You can talk now. Okay. There we go. Cool. We got you.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Streetman, do you have anything that you'd like to say on behalf of the board to Mr. Morgan in receiving his emeritus status and his upcoming retirement, which will be effective at the end of December?
I've known Jim for many, many, many years, and the only thing I can say is he'll be greatly missed. I'm thrilled that we'll be able to hire him back and utilize Jim's expertise that way. There'll be areas that we can sure enough use him in. I wish him all the luck in the world.
Thank you.
Jim, thank you for everything you've done for the last 23 years. But
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any comments? I think this is an appropriate time to recognize and thank Jim and Ed if anybody has anything they'd like to add.
We will
Thank-
miss Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything, Jim. Good luck.
You bet. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Jim, for being there all these years for us.
Thank you, bud. Take it easy.
That's right.
So with that said, Mr. Chair Emeritus or Chief Emeritus, I got it wrong that time. Congratulations on your emeritus status, and we look forward to a continued working relationship with you in your retirement, and to get to spend a little bit of time with your grandkids at the same time. So anyway, Mr. Chair, members of the board, I'm requesting a couple of changes at the request of faculty and staff. And one of them is just simply, I believe, an oversight. We'll deal with the oversight first. New Year's Day this year is on a Sunday, which makes the national holiday on Monday, the 2nd of January. Our current academic calendar somehow missed counting that as the holiday. So it would be appropriate to be in line with the state and federal holidays if the board so chose to make New Year's Day a holiday with the college closed. We'll just deal with them separately.
sorry about that. Do we have a motion, folks?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve that.
Okay, and a second.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Streetman,
Yes.
Mr. Box,
Yes.
Mr. Sidwell,
Yes.
Mr. Sandoval,
Yes.
and Ms. Stevenson.
Yes.
The motion carried.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Additionally, I've received a lot of encouragement to bring this to the board regarding Monday and Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. These are days that the faculty do not have to work, that the staff do. However, most of them don't. So they take it off and it ends up with about a half a dozen people at the college. And they have asked that the board consider making these 2 days, Monday and Tuesday of Thanksgiving week, holidays in conjunction with the students and the faculty. There's been others I know on this call who have voiced opinions about this. If any of them has anything they want to say, they can do that before the board takes action.
Please do.
Yeah, please do. Don't put me out there to dry.
I would say, members of the board, Mr. Chairman, that it would be a very good opportunity for all of us to take some rest and replenish, and just come back, from the holidays, revitalized to tackle our work.
Thank you, Blanca. Mr. Chairman, the only thing I would add to that is that I believe you and the members of this board know how hard this group of people have been working exhaustively, 5, 6, 7 days a week to try to rebuild their departments and so forth and so on. So I wouldn't object to Blanca's comments regarding this as a way of supplementary or showing appreciation for that. Anybody else have anything to say? Oh, Joel Kaiser has his hand up.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, board, what I would like to just add is to echo exactly what Blanca said. It's about but to add that it's about finding a center again, finding our family again, and having that time to recharge, to restart, and it'd be a great gesture to our staff as well. And knowing that when they come back for those remaining weeks, they're going to be supercharged, and we're going to get a lot of projects completed before we walk out the door for the winter. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Joe. Anyone
To the
else?
board. To the board. Questions? Anybody have any questions about it? The only question that I have is that Monday and Tuesday, we're not going to have anybody there, so we're not going to be able to answer phones or answer questions. Is there any way to work through that, or we just have to not worry about it and go on?
No, sir. If you'll forgive me for correcting you.
That's perfectly fine.
With our new phone system, our phones ring actually on our cell phones now. So all of our phones actually ring directly to our cells. So we're not, just because we're not in the office doesn't mean there's no one answering the phone.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We need to be updated a little bit on that new phone system then, because what is the college number now? Is it still 4413? Or is that
I
changing?
think we all need updated on that new phone system, sir.
Okay. I know we've had issues with it because it seems like even transferring calls, we never quite know where they're going to go sometimes.
No,
I guess I can
for the-
speak to
the
that.
number for the college is 575-431-6600. It's named after Route 66.
431, you mean 461, don't
Or
you?
I mean 461, excuse
That's
me.
right.
Pardon me.
461.
461.
And
Yeah,
then-
and then the last four digits start off with 66 in honor of Route 66. And then the last two digits get our extensions.
Okay, Jason, you started to say something, sir.
Oh, yes. Yeah, well, I would echo what Dr. Bush said. And also 4413, if it's not currently also ringing to our main exchange, it does now. Or it will tomorrow, I'll make sure.
Okay. That was one of the questions, because some of the older numbers
Right.
weren't ringing through like they should have, and I wondered about that too. But okay, good.
And if I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, if I could add as well, the call routing system has also been updated. So for those that are listening to the call routing message, it notifies with each number that they select, it will be directed to that department. So, for instance, student affairs, the business office, financial aid, things like that.
Do we have, or are we going to put out some kind of a directory, or is it all going to be online?
It's all online on the website, I believe. Jason, can you confirm that as well?
Yes, I can. I think Margaret did a pretty good job of making sure that we got that straightened up. So I think the directory that's online actually goes to new extensions that people have.
And Mr. Chair, the
just checking right
directory
now.
is actually built into our phones now. So while we're, for example, out of the office working, we're able to pull the directory up and call directly from our phones to the other extensions. So we can do every operation on our cell phone, probably more operations on our cell phone, because we can text as well to each other than we could before.
Okay. That being said, back to what Dr. Bush has requested. Do we want to go ahead and approve having Monday and Tuesday off of Thanksgiving week? If so, do we have a motion?
I had one more question real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
Did I hear correctly that the 4431 or
4413
will still ring? Okay.
Yes, ma'am, you did. You heard correctly.
And why I say that, my phone number at home is real close to that. And
Oh, no.
you wouldn't believe how many calls I get for Mesalands. And I just give them the correct number. So
Yeah. Tell them to call and ask for Dr. Dwayne Brooks. And,
oh yeah, pass this buck off some more.
I can confirm. I'm looking right here at our admin console for our 8x8 phone system. I can confirm that both 4413 and 6600 go to our main auto attendant.
Thank you, sir.
It's the exact same experience.
Okay. Back to what we were saying. Do we have a motion to basically close the college for Monday and Tuesday of Thanksgiving week and give everybody a break?
I so move.
Okay. Do we have a second, please?
Second.
Okay. And roll call.
Mr. Streetman,
Yes.
Mr. Box,
Yes.
Mr. Sidwell, Mr. Sidwell,
Tom, you're muted, sir.
Yes. Can I take off Monday and Tuesday
thank
also?
you. Yes.
Can you? Yes, sir. You sure can.
Mr. Sandoval
Yes.
and Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
and the motion carried.
Tom, the only problem you're going to have to do is take that up with the cattle in the pasture, whether you can have Monday and Tuesday off.
No, I haven't looked that up with my wife.
I just want to thank you on behalf of a whole bunch of people who have been all over me about this. So anyway, so you've made some very happy people. And I will be honest with you. I'm not trying to make light of this. These people have been working unbelievably to rebuild, as you recognize, a number of departments across this college. And I think what you did this evening is an affirmation to them that you've shown them how much you support and appreciate their time. So thank you on their behalf. Yeah, Maria says thank you for her 2 days off. So she's a happy camper too. So anyway. For our new employees that are with us, you're welcome to stay on with the board meeting. Otherwise, if you've had enough of this excitement, you can log off. But if you log off, we'll know who you are. So, but I'm just kidding. You can go.
Don't worry about it.
No, you can log off if you so desire. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I would like to take a moment to concede a moment of my time to our nursing director, Shannon Fries, who has an announcement for you.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and the board. I would like to give you some fantastic news. We had our visit with the Higher Learning Commission, our site visit for the nursing program the week before last, and we received back their recommendation, and the site reviewers recommended that our program be approved, and we got 100% approval with nothing needing to be done. So it was a pretty successful visit. We're pretty happy. And so that's just fantastic news. So I'm happy to share that with you.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to underscore the real significance in this. I've been a peer reviewer for the Higher Learning Commission now for almost 10 years. I've been in this biz for quite some time. I have never seen a peer review where 100% of everything was right. They always can find something to fix. And in this particular peer review document, Dr. Hackett and I received it first, and we had to keep reading it because we kept looking for the part that said we had to fix something, and we didn't. We have so much to commend to Shannon Fries and the many people who were behind Shannon in making this happen. And this is an amazing step for Mesalands, and to be approved by HLC. We're cooking over here. So anyway, any questions about that?
Congratulations.
Wonderful news.
Yes. Thank you. It was really very much a group effort. There was a huge team of people responsible for it. So, it's congratulations to really everyone at the college, and it was just amazing.
To just keep you up to speed a little bit, so Shannon's got all the approval done now for the program. Dr. Hackett has done all of the negotiating with HLC. Jim has led the construction of the Nursing and Allied Health Center. And our first group of students are going through this fall in their pre-nursing courses, and they will be able to start their nursing courses in the spring semester. And we have 2 additional cohorts in waiting. We have 2 more cohorts waiting to start. So that's our challenge right now, is to get them into the system and figure out how we can move them along. So The nursing program is going to be a big addition and a wonderful addition to Mesalands. And the one thing that I want to stress about this, and this is one of the things that Director Freeze and I have talked a lot about, is that Mesalands is a unique institution. And one of the things that I have asked that we work with in our nursing program is that we become the specialist, the one school that you find in nursing, because every school has a nursing program. But we're going to be the one school who has that additional emphasis in rural medicine and rural healthcare. This is a community that serves a rural population where home health and hospice are vital to the people of our region. So people will come from all over the United States to be able to study if they have a passion for rural medicine. As integrates, it embeds some of that content across her curriculum. That does not mean in any way, shape, or form that they are only prepared for rural medicine. They are not. They are fully prepared to go into nursing in any type of environment. So we're very proud of that, and that's another way in which Mesalands is going to be leading the way in nursing. So thank you very much. So before you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, you have the executive director's reports. We're not going to go into detail, but if you have any questions on those reports, you certainly may dive into those. Let me get mine up here first. If I can find it real quick. Okay. Just a couple of pieces I want to highlight real quickly. And a special thank you to Dr. Maria Haas and Julio Galendo for, and as well as, names are slipping me, guys. Eddie, was it
Gene and Judy Ross.
Gene and Judy Ross. Thank you, Julio. For the Navajo Code Talkers. You may have heard that we were doing this. We were doing this as part of our Native American History Month. It started off here at the college. It grew, and it grew, and it grew like the Grinch's heart, and it ended up landing over in the high school auditorium with about 2,000 people. It ended up on the news all over the nation. It ended up on Yahoo News. It was picked up by the television stations. We interviewed with a number of TV stations as well. But most importantly, we had a tremendous opportunity to meet a real live World War II hero, a Navajo code talker by the name of Thomas H. Begay. And what a wonderful day that was. Second point I want to mention to you, I guess you could just call it bragging rights a little bit. While I was meeting with Mr. Begay, I got an email from the White House to have a meeting the following day with President Biden. I was one of only 3 people in higher education to actually have a meeting, more than just a little handshake, with the president. I met him in Albuquerque, and it was a wonderful time. But I told him a lot about Mesalands. He was familiar with Mesalands, and he was familiar with my work and working on the rural initiative, the Rural Stakeholders Initiative. And so I'm really pleased to share the news that when I mentioned Mesalands, he knew what I was talking about. Now, did somebody whisper it in his ear 5 minutes before? Maybe, but anyhow, that's another story. But regardless, I think that was something worth noting. Another thing I want to bring to your attention that's not in my report. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this semester will be the first semester in the history of Mesalands where we will have students completing courses in our honors college. These are honors students who are completing special projects and assignments who will get honors designations on their transcripts. On November the 30th, they will be displaying an academic poster project about their projects that they've done for their classes, and they will be there, I believe, between 5 and 6 for opportunities to talk to people about their projects. But their projects will be displayed all day, and in the evening, I'll be having an event with those students. I would encourage members of the board, if you're available, to swing by the college on November the 30th and take a look at their projects. This is setting these students up for great success, whether it's for transfer or whether it's for placement in the workforce. So that's tremendous. I'd also like, it's not on your calendar, but just have you pencil it in that on December 15th, we will be having an honor ceremony here honoring Chief Emeritus Jim Morgan. If you are available, and I encourage again members of the board to join us that day for the celebration of Jim receiving his emeritus status. So if you would, you can make a mark on that.
What day is that, sir?
Sir, is December 15th.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and I'll get in. What I will do to members of the board and to the executive staff, of course, is I'll send you out a meeting invitation. You can accept it or you can decline it. That way you'll know what time it is.
Okay.
Okay. On November 7th, Ms. Freeze has already mentioned this, but I want to reiterate it. Mr. Bush and I hosted a celebration here at the college honoring the HLC nursing team who were here that day. And it was at that point in time, we had kept it a surprise and we invited folks in, and it was a great time. So sometimes we need to take time out of our busy days to stop, pause, say thank you, and celebrate. And that was certainly a wonderful time to celebrate. I want to simply announce that ECMC, an organization that's worked with Mesalands now for a few years, but I reignited this back a year ago, just granted us a $5,000 award to supply food for the Mesalands Food Pantry. This will increase our food supply in the pantry that's available to our students in our community up to $10,500 worth of supplies. So this is quite an achievement for our community. Dr. Haas has been involved in this. You remember Dr. Roundtree was very, very involved in this. And Mr. B is sort of coordinating the effort. So I want to bring that up. And finally, today and tomorrow, we're hosting on campus the state audit team who are here auditing our CTE career and technical education programs and those that are associated with us receiving our Perkins funds. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, you may recall back several months ago, I brought to your attention that Mesalands had not applied nor received any federal money under the Carl D. Perkins Act. And this is money that's designed for technical programs. And for reasons that I can't explain, we just never applied and got any. So I want to thank Dr. Hackett. She completed the application. We received Perkins funds. And as a consequence of that, you don't only get the funds, but you get an audit team who comes to check you out. So anyway, so I've met with the audit team. They love it. They think that we're doing a terrific job and things are going very well, but they'll finish their audit tomorrow. And I want to thank as well Mary Beth Bush. She's leading this project because CTE falls under workforce development. Okay. With that said, Mr. Chairman, that is sort of a summary of my report. You'll find in your board packets the reports of the other chiefs. If you have any questions for any of them, or if any of them have any really major significant points that it's not going to make the meeting go too long tonight, jump in there. But Dr. Brooks, Chief of Staff, do you have anything, sir, that you want to add?
No, sir. Chairman, everything's good here unless you have any questions for me.
Sounds good. All right. Does the board have any questions for Dr. Brooks? Hearing none, we'll move on. Mr. Joel Kaiser, Chief Academic Officer and Student Success. He has given you his report on what's happening in the academic side of the house. Mr. Kaiser, do you have anything you want to add to that report? And does the board have any questions for him?
Excuse me for just one moment. Mr. Box, Ms. Stevenson, can we get you guys to mute your mics, please?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Go right ahead now, sir.
No problem, sir. Mr. Kaiser, do you have anything to add to your report, or does the board have any questions for you?
No, sir.
All right. Does the board have any questions?
I don't see any hands coming
All
up
right.
anywhere.
We'll keep it going. Mr. Josh McVeigh, he is the Chief Communications and Strategic Enrollment Management Officer. He has presented you with a report along with some examples of some of the most recent publications that have come out. And you have to agree with me that we are really putting out some beautiful stuff now as a result of with the work of our graphic designer, Rob Whitmore. Mr. McVeigh, do you have anything that you would like to add, or does the board have any questions for you?
I just wanted to add that we do have a student that's highlighted in a magazine, Rodeo News, next month. And I just want to highlight Mr. Brian Huey. He has done fantastic with bronc riding, but he has an article about himself, and you'll find more information there. We're very proud of him and what he's accomplishing. So I just want to draw attention to our student.
Great. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board?
Okay, the next any hands, sir. Go ahead.
The next report up is from Blanca, our Chief Financial Officer and Senior Executive Director of Business Services. Blanca, do you have anything you'd like to add to your report, or are there questions from the members of the board?
No, I don't have anything else to add at this time.
Thank you. Any members of the board?
I don't see any hands, sir.
All right. Moving on to the next report, we have Jim Morgan, now Chief Emeritus of Campus Operations and Workforce Development. Mr. Morgan, do you have anything that you would like to add to your report, or does the board have any questions for you?
No, sir, I don't have anything.
Thank you. Members of the board? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Next, we have Julio Galindo. Julio is Chief Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Officer, and he's also the Senior Executive Director for Institutional Advancement. Mr. Galindo, do you have anything you would like to add to your report, or does the board have any questions for you?
Nothing other than just thank the board again for everything they do for us. Thank you.
Great.
You're welcome, sir.
Any questions from the board? Okay, moving on.
Yes, sir.
All right. So next up, we have Jason Nemro. Jason, of course, is our Chief Information Officer and Senior Executive Director for Information Technology. Mr. Nemro, do you have anything you'd like to add to your report, or are there any questions from the board?
No, sir, I have nothing to add.
Okay, thank you. Any members of the board? Hearing none, we'll move on. The next report is from Russell Irby. He's the Senior Executive Director for Human Resources. Mr. Irby, do you have anything you would like to add to your report, or does the board have any questions for Mr. Irby?
Nothing more to add to the report, but just on behalf of the staff, thank you for the extra Thanksgiving days, because a lot of folks have been asking about it, and we do appreciate it greatly.
Well, we appreciate you too, Mr. Irby, because you're going to have to go back down and fix all of our leave. So that's, that's good.
Somebody's going to be working one of those days, getting everything caught up. It sounds like
it'll take him a day to take all the leave back off that everybody put on for those days. So anyway.
That's okay.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Thank you, Mr. Irby. We have the next report from Paul Moss, our athletic director. Paul, do you have anything to add to your report, or does the board have any questions for Paul?
No, sir.
Okay. Does the board have any questions?
Don't see any hands up, sir.
All right. We'll be moving on. Then next we have Dr. Maria Haas, Senior Executive Director for Hispanic Outreach and Student Support. She has provided her report. Dr. Haas, do you have anything you'd like to add to your report? Or does the board have any questions for Dr. Haas?
No, I just want to say thank you again for those 2 days because I had asked for them.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Uh-huh. And does the board have any questions for Dr. Haas? Okay, hearing none, and going back to my agenda page, I believe
you skipped over Dr. Hackett, sir.
Did I skip Dr. Hackett?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Hackett. My board packet doesn't have anything. Do you have reports from Dr. Hackett?
Yes, we do.
Okay, it's just me then. Okay, Dr. Hackett, ma'am, do you have anything you'd like to add to your report, or does the board have any questions of you?
Dr. Bush and all, I do not have anything to add, and thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the board for Dr. Hackett?
Don't see any hands again, sir.
All right. I think that covers the reports of the chief officers. At this point, I will turn it over to Jessica Gonzalez, Executive Director for Admissions and Financial Aid, who will share with you the annual financial aid award report for 21-22.
Good evening, everybody. I'm excited to report on our financial aid for last year, and I'm even more excited to say that I even put in there for 2022, 2023, that it's on the upward tick. So we have more students this year and we're awarding more money, so that's exciting. We're finally digging out of that COVID slump. So in 2021, 2022, we had our federal awards at $530,524. That includes Pell, direct loans, federal work study, VA, SEOG, HERF funds, and AmeriCorps funding. State, we had SSIG, which is a student incentive grant, college affordability grant, lottery, state work study, DBR, which is our funds from the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation, the New Mexico Opportunity Scholarship, which now pays 100% tuition and fees after all other state aid has been awarded, and legislative endowment funds. For 21-22, we awarded $163,498. Institution funds, we had $98,480. That includes work study and institutional scholarships, which include athletic dollars, as well as additional program scholarships. Third-party scholarships is going to be basically everything else that might be out there. Private scholarships that students receive from their homes, communities, any other type of organizations, tribal monies, and private student loans. And we had an amount of $20,659. So for the total, we had 128 unduplicated students receiving financial aid in 21-22 for a total of $813,161. So I'm excited to show that for 22-23, which is our current fiscal year, our federal awards have actually bumped up to $658,000. More than that. And then our state funds has jumped up with the New Mexico Opportunity Scholarship, which has also been expanded to our correctional students that qualify. And so we had over 100, and I think I just reported to Dr. Rommel at the state that we had 131 students receive the New Mexico Opportunity Scholarship this fall. in the amount of $85,000. So that's really exciting. And that's only for the fall. I haven't awarded spring yet, so it'll double in number. And so right now I'm awarded to 185 students for the fall. I always anticipate for a growth of 25 to 30 students for the spring. That's usually new students. Of course, we have students that graduate, but you can see that we're on the upward stretch to award more money. So I'm very excited. So I'll entertain any questions if there are any.
Questions, anyone? Jessica, I see no hands going up anywhere. I guess you're going to be free and clear on this.
Just out of curiosity, how many of your students are actually veterans and get VA benefits?
So currently I have two students receiving veteran benefits, and they are actually dependents of veterans. They are not veterans themselves. I do have a new student coming in the spring who is a vet, and he will be in our Farrier Science program. I've been working with him since June, July, and he's finally going to be here. We've got him registered for the spring. And so our numbers are very small with veterans, but that doesn't mean that it can't grow from here. And we have a lot of the unique programming that really works well for our veterans.
Okay. Mr. Sidwell, if I could piggyback a little bit on what Ms. Gonzalez had to say. One of the components of the new addition is actually a veterans room that back in the 20 teens became an expectation that was required by the federal government that every college have a veterans space. And so we've been able to integrate that in. That's going to be a very positive move, as Mrs. Gonzalez pointed out, because it's going to really show the commitment of the college to support veterans. And Ms. Gonzalez, my intent is have Ms. Gonzalez work along with Armando Acosta, because Armando is active duty. He worked for us as a counselor, but he's a reservist. So so he'll be working along with her to help coordinate that veteran space. So that has been planned along with our Tucumcari veterans organizations. So when we see the finish of the addition, they will be part of that process in the groundbreaking or ribbon cutting to that veteran space. That should be a very positive sign that we're here, we're able. Jessica is more than prepared to be able to support veterans with the GI Bill, and we'll be able to have the support we need to increase our veterans enrollment.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Chairman, I am remiss because I made a mistake, and you are remiss because you didn't catch it. Anyway, if I could just briefly, and I'll sort of emphasize briefly, go back to Mr. Kaiser. Mr. Kaiser has in your report, exhibit number 5, the Student Learning Assessment Report. Mr. Kaiser, can you give them the high points on that?
Yes, sir. Thank you. This is a plan going forward on ways of changing our assessment, where we're not only assessing on the ground level of our course assessment, but we're able to link back to our program assessment and institutional learning outcomes. And it also will help us help prepare us for our next accreditation cycle, demonstrating that all of our programs are assessing the program outcomes in accordance with our institutional outcomes. So this is kind of our new framework, and I look forward to jumping into all of the wonderful ways we can assess our courses. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Kaiser. And I know also thank you to Dr. Hackett, who oversees the general assessment of the college and what goes on here. I was also remiss to and skipped over Exhibit 6, Mr. McVeigh, can you provide an update on your enrollment report from Exhibit 6?
Absolutely. So we're looking at our enrollment since 2020. Over the last 3 years, year over year in the fall, we've seen, this year over year, we've seen a 16% increase. Last year, we saw an 8% increase. And then in total overall, and I'll say since Dr. Bush has taken leadership, we've seen over 26% increase overall. We continue the trend moving up, and I look forward to reporting in the future as we continue to develop that. I will also say that we are very excited about the work that's being done with our dual enrollment as well as with our correctional facilities, as again, we've seen broken records there for highest enrollment, which has been phenomenal. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. McVeigh or Mr. Kaiser regarding their reports that I skipped over? Hearing none, I'll move on then and keep your meeting moving here. Blanca, Chief Financial Officer and Executive Director of Business Services, has a few items she needs to bring to your attention. Some will require action. Blanca, if you take over, please.
Yes. So we have the, and the Exhibit A, we have the quarterly financial reports that need signature. This is some of the reports that we submit to HED quarterly, certifying, our financial records. That will require board signature. We also have the HED project on the Exhibit 9 XCB project request that we submitted for funding for different research projects that would also require signature. And Exhibit 10 and 11 are a couple of requisitions for the nursing program for equipment out of the grant account that we received for the nursing program for your review and approval given the amounts, as well as the financial report for our CDs, our holdings of $3,992.75, earnings from the city holdings at Mesalands. Currently, the other reports, we are reviewing a new software for financial reporting, which you will be updated as soon as we're able to implement that. And do we have any questions for me?
Well, first off, let's back up to Exhibit 8, and you need a motion and a second to get this approved, correct?
Correct.
So that being said, folks, this is a monthly quarterly report that we do every year all year long. So do we have a motion to approve that?
I'll move that we approve Exhibit 8.
Okay, and a second, please.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Margaret, can't hear you for whatever reason.
You're muted now, Margaret.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, now there you go.
So sorry. Mr. Boss?
Yes.
Mr. Sidwell?
Yes.
Mr. Sandoval?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
And Mr. Streetman?
Yes.
And motion carried.
Okay. Blanca, the next item, I don't see an exhibit number.
Exhibit 9.
Exhibit 9 for the HED reports for special projects.
Yes, ma'am. There it is. I found it. Okay. Any questions on this report, guys? and gal, excuse me.
What all is going into the athletics? That's almost half the request there.
We requested, so these reports, we are to request usually for our existing funding to remain for rodeo and all of the other athletic programs, but also a new request for indoor sports. That's what is contained in that line item, sir.
If I remember right, Tom, that had to do with a bunch of electronics and stuff. This got into that esports, and which is probably going to get pretty pricey when we look at the monitors and screens and computers that they need for that. Any more questions, folks? Okay, if we don't have any more questions, do we have a motion to approve this?
So move.
Okay, and a second?
No, second.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Jimmy. Roll call.
Mr. Sidwell,
Yes.
Mr. Sandoval,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Streetman,
Yes.
and Mr. Box.
Yes.
And the motion carried.
Okay, Blanca, the next one is Exhibit 10. That's a pretty good sized packet too, isn't it?
Yeah, those are the quotes for the nursing program, sir, equipment that we're acquiring. So yes, those are two large packets.
Is this for, I guess, Dr. Bush or somebody explain, is this for 2 stations or is this more than that, or what are we setting up here?
So what this, yes, Mr. Chairman, what you're looking at now is the estimates and the invoice amounts that need approved. This money has been already provided to the college.
That's right.
It's been appropriated. You may recall we received initially $700,000. Of that 700,000, 200,000 of it was for nursing endowment, and 500,000 of it was to buy the equipment that you see here. What Ms. Freeze did was when HED requested the amounts necessary to develop a nursing program, I instructed Ms. Freeze to make her wish list, because we knew it would go to the state, and for her to provide our students with the best equipment and supplies that she could provide. And the state, in fact, funded the best supplies that she could get. So that's what you're seeing here. And so this is all pre-funded. It's just requiring your approval for them to move forward.
Yes, sir.
So specifically what these items will build is our simulation center. It will provide us with the beds, the head walls, which are the things that are on the walls in the hospital that provide oxygen and suction and all that kind of thing. And a lot of the other equipment to make the simulation center and also the skills lab look like hospital rooms or medical rooms, so that the students can have a realistic place to learn.
And to give you a better idea, how many simulation stations are there, and which kinds, and you can give them what types they are so that they understand?
Yeah, so in the simulation center, we'll have 3 beds. One will have a high fidelity adult simulator, and that simulator, well, all of the simulators in the simulation center are what they call high fidelity, which means that they can be programmed to do most of the things that a real human being can do. They can breathe. Or simulate breathing. They can simulate bowel sounds. They can simulate heart sounds. They can talk, cry, yell, scream, cough. They can do all of those things. You can take a blood pressure on them. You can take a pulse on them. You can do pretty much everything. You can insert tubes into them just like they were a real human being. And so the students will get a realistic idea of what it is like to take care of patients. And you can do real CPR on them. You can do real shock them, with a defibrillator, just like you can a real human being. The other mannequins that will be in that room is a pediatric mannequin, so that will be a child. And then a birthing simulator, so that mannequin can actually give birth to a baby. And then there will be the baby that once it's born, then the students can take care of the baby as though it were a real infant. And it has all of those same things. You can check its pulse. It will cry. It will have a heart. You can listen to its heart. You can listen to its bowels. You can do all of those things on this little simulator.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're pretty cool. And then in the skills lab, there will be 6 beds in the skills lab. There will be 6 mannequins in there, and these mannequins are what they call low fidelity mannequins. They're to learn simple skills. So what those mannequins can do is we can teach the students to put in, say, a catheter, and they can get urine back. They can learn positioning and transferring and bed making and bathing and all the basic care things in the skills lab.
Okay, folks, back to this. Do we have a motion then to, since everything has been pre-approved and the money is there, do we have a motion to approve Exhibit 10?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
And I got a second. Roll call. That's okay.
Who seconded that?
Philip, wasn't it you? Or Jimmy? Jimmy seconded.
Okay. Mr. Sandoval?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Streetman?
Yes.
Mr. Box? And Mr. Sidwell?
Yes.
And the motion carried.
Okay. We got the same thing again with Exhibit 9. Exhibit 11. And do we have a motion to approve that?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Exhibit 11.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
I'll second it.
And Jimmy seconds. Let's do a roll call, please.
Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Streetman?
Yes.
Mr. Box?
Yes.
Mr. Sidwell?
Yes.
And Mr. Sandoval?
Yes.
And the motion carried.
Okay. Blanca, you want to present the check registers and stuff and the CD deposits?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Let's just find the exhibit.
Exhibit 12. Yeah, there we go.
Yes. So yes, for our current earnings for the current holding in the CD report at this point are $3,192.75 from the current holdings. And we have the check report, which is larger at this time because now we're catching up with all of the vendor payments. In that report, it's, I believe, the last exhibit. Well,
Right.
Should be able to.
Are those disbursements?
correct. Yes, and that includes all of September and all of September and all of the October as well.
That's fine. We've got 2
Because,
months.
yes, 2 months.
Yeah. That total is $467,988.04. Is that not correct, Blanca?
I am looking at the end. That is correct. 216,276 and 52.
Wait a minute now. I'm missing something because I had a total here, a grand total of 467,000. Okay, we got, yeah, I see what we're getting at here because we've got even some checks for July here.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to look at the beginning of the report. Yeah, I believe I printed a report because in the previous meeting, I hadn't provided one. So I printed for the entire semester so far.
Okay, gotcha. So we've got a report here for July, for August, September, and October. It looks like.
Yes.
And that would get turned off.
And I was looking at the wrong page. Anyway, I guess let's back this thing up. This, yes, I see. You're right. The last one, the very last one is 216. So basically, we're going to approve all of this, which they're not broke down in exhibits, but we've got the check register or checks that were issued for July, which would be $7,916.89. And then we have August of $82,161.97.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, you may recall that it was during this time that Blanca was getting her feet on the ground and she was not able to provide those reports to you at that time.
Yes,
so she's catching you up now, I think.
I understand, and yes, and you're correct because it's been paid and done and gone. And it looks like then for September we were $467,988.04, and then again for the last month, which would be the 10th month, we were $216,276.52. So do I have a motion to approve the financial reports and check registers as presented?
So move. And second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Sidwell,
Yes.
Mr. Sandoval,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Streetman,
Yes.
and Mr. Box.
Yes.
And motion carried.
I'm sorry, we didn't have that listed as an action item, but I think it probably should have been. It has been in the past. Is that not right, Margaret?
I believe it is right.
Okay.
That's
correct too.
I'm sorry.
Okay, at this point in time, we're scheduled for an executive session. So do we have a motion to go into executive session for the items listed here?
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session.
Okay, and a second, please.
Teresa, so moved.
You need a second, Teresa.
Second rather. Sorry.
Thank you, ma'am. Roll call.
Mr. Streetman,
Yes.
Mr. Box,
Yes.
Mr. Sidwell,
Yes.
Mr. Sandoval,
Yes.
and Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
and the motion carried.
Okay, Dr. Bush, is there anybody you want to keep in here with us?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask Dr. Brooks and Mr. Nimro to stay with us, please.
Okay. Everybody else can drop out, please. And we want to make sure the stream is cut.
this is a habit, and the next ones will be really long.
Yeah, maybe, Tom. You look at the thickness of this one; it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, Lordy.
Okay, we're live again. We are live again.
Okay, we're actually back to recording.
Okay. We're back to streaming. Is that what you're saying? Okay, I'm not sure who else is going to be coming back. Do we know who else will be coming back, Dr. Bush?
I don't know yet. I'm making some calls.
Okay.
I can reinvite.
Well, I'll tell you what, we can go ahead and just close this meeting out. We're streaming, and we've got Margaret with us. Unless anybody's got anything else. Do you have a problem, Dr. Bush?
No, sir.
Okay.
Jim?
Yes.
If I could, I'd like to say something.
Well, we're not in executive session anymore.
Right.
Okay.
There's two people that was recognized in the New Mexico Cattle Growers Association magazine this month that affiliated with Mesalands that I think we need to recognize. And number one is Tom Sidwell. He was named Cattleman of the Year. I think,
cool.
You know, that says a lot for someone that serves on the Board of Trustees. And also Manny Encinius and his farm and so forth was named, and there was an article in there. I think both of those represent Mesalands in a great way. And I just wanted the rest of the board to know of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mr. Sidwell.
Thank you, Philip.
Well, Manny's not here, but congratulations to you, Tom and Manny. And yes, that is absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, we're coming. We're going to reconvene this meeting from executive session. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, who's second? Philip, you seconded?
Yes.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Box,
Yes.
Mr. Sidwell,
Yes.
Mr. Sandoval,
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson,
Yes.
and Mr. Streetman,
Yes.
and the motion carried.
Okay. Let this action, or let's just reflect that there's no action to be taken from the results of our executive session. New business. It doesn't look like we've got anything in the way of new business or correspondence. Informational items. Thanksgiving break will be from, it's changed a little bit. We're going to have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thanksgiving Day off, and Friday. The holiday break, the school will be closed from the 19th to the 30th. The Board of Trust, yes.
I'm sorry. I think that will now be January 2nd. Since that y'all voted.
Yes, ma'am, you're correct. December the 19th through January the 2nd. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The Board of Trustees calendar is in there, and that's been updated to reflect on the 13th. And then our annual reports is in there. Let me run down the list here. Dr. Bush, do you have anything else, sir?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Sidwell, do you have anything else?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay, Mr. Sandoval.
No, don't.
Okay, Mr. Box.
No, sir.
Ms. Stevenson.
Nothing.
I don't know who's behind institutional computing, but have you got anything you'd like to add?
No, sir.
Okay, Jason,
No, nothing to add.
Margaret.
I would like to thank the board for approving the 2 extra days for Thanksgiving holiday. And that's all. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Dr. Brooks.
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Ms. Bush.
Nothing here. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Blanca.
No, sir, not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Glendo.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Well, folks, that being said, we're going to have this meeting adjourned at 8:02 p.m. And that being said, everybody have a very, very nice Thanksgiving, and we'll see you after Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
All righty.
Okay,
Thanks.
take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.